So in the previous class, we started with the tuple relational calculus. So I know like it's been quite a day, so we have started. So I think you people have just forgot it. So basically, first we studied about the relational calculus, which is nothing but the formal language uh, query and the like part of the relational model. So it will specify the calculus expression specifies what is to be retrieved rather than how to retrieve it. And relational calculus is again non-procedural language, and it will differ from the relational algebra. So in the previous classes we studied about the relational algebras. So it will like vary from those things, right? So in relational calculus are of two types: tuple relational calculus and domain relational calculus. Domain relational calculus we haven't discussed yet, but tuple we have just gone through it once. So in the tuple relational calculus, we have the tuple variable. So what is a tuple variable? A tuple relational calculus is based on specifying a number of tuple variables. So here we seen this is basically a syntax for a tuple relational calculus, where have this t is a tuple variable, and which means cond, that's a condition of t. So this will result that is such a query that is set of all tuples t that satisfy the condition of t. So this one we had an example. If we want to find the all employees whose salary is above $50,000, then we can write the following calculus. That means we have a tuple t. There it belongs to the like employee table, and salary t dot salary is greater than 50,000. Okay. And if we want to only retrieve the like particular tuples, in this case the first name and the last name, then we go for this such kind of statement. So f dot name, l dot name, that is the first name and the last name of employee of t and whose salary is greater than 50,000. So we have like explained you the meaning of everything is mentioned here. Like basically it will consist of a set of attributes to be retrieved. That means this part will consist of the set of attributes you want to retrieve it, and obviously you need to mention the table name from which table you want to retrieve, and finally the condition. What will be the condition based on which you will retrieve? Moving next, we have another example where we are retrieving the birth date and the address. That is, these two attributes from the employee table, and we have the condition that first name should be John and last name should be Smith. So we have the corresponding SQL statements, like we have that tuple relation calculus. We have this SQL required attribute is the select clause, range is from clause, and the condition is the where clause. So this is, we can represent it in the SQL statement, right? It's like select birth date, comma, salary from employee, where L name equal to Smith and age is greater than 30. So that is how we go for SQL queries, right? So we had some these formulas were there and these things, right? Just the syntax we used. These are the formulas we calculated. So these are all the valid expressions that R of T of I, where R is the name of the relation and T is the tuple name. Then obviously tuple dot the attribute name, any operator T dot B. So operators are mentioned here. These are the operators. So we can also go for this operator, any constant value, maybe 5, 6, 7, whatever constant value. Later we told you that any kind of like logical operations also is possible, like and or not, whichever we studied in class 12, 11 or 12, two tables in physics. So all these things we can go for in relational calculus. Tuple relational calculus. We can see here I have used this like and or not. We can also use the symbol for the calculus. Okay, tuple relational calculus, we can go for the symbols also. Okay. Now let's move to the today's topic, that is safe expression. So what is a safe expression? Just go through the definition. A safe expression in relational calculus is one that is guaranteed to yield a finite number of tuples as its result. Otherwise, the expression is unsafe. So when a relational tuple is there, when you are sure that it will retrieve the like any number of like a finite number of tuples. That finite means you can count that number of tuples. That kind of expressions are known as safe expression. Okay, safe expression. But anything like any expression like which will retrieve numerous like n number of tuples, in that case that expression is said to be unsafe. Now let's take an example for this unsafe expression. So we see in tuple, we are clear about the syntax for the tuple relational calculus, right? So we have a tuple that is not in employ of T. Okay, in that case, it will list out what all the all the tuples which are not present in table, which are not present in the table employed. In that case, it can be innumerous, like infinite number of tuples, because there may be, see, there are not a single tuple in a database, single table in a database, right? In the database, we can have multiple tables. So it will print out all, since we have given the statement expression as not of employee of T. So it will list out all the tuples that are present in the other tables. Whatever the table, suppose we have a student table, we have a department table. In that way, like we have like n number of tables are there, so it will print out the tuples of all those tuples. So we cannot count it, right? So in that case, that kind of expression, so this kind of expression is said to be what? Unsafe. But other expressions which will list out, like we have seen before, so in this case also it is safe. Why? Because we know it will only like retrieve only those tuple whose employee, like from the employee table, whose last name is Smith and age is less than 30. So only those tuples will be limited, right? We can count them. So only those tuples will be retrieved. But in this case, when we are giving and we are adding a not to the employee, so what happens is in a database there can be any number of tables are there, and many tables may be there, and in those tables there will be various tuples. Okay, so it will print when we mention not employee of T, it means it will not print all the tuples which are present in employee of T. So it will print what? It will retrieve all the tuples from the other tables. So that can be infinite. So that is why this kind of tuples are this kind of expressions are known as unsafe. Clear? Safe and unsafe? Safe expression, unsafe expression.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Safe expression, unsafe. Anyone not clear? Should I repeat once more? Next, we have we have two special symbols. Okay, here, so known as the quantifiers. Okay, they are the two special symbols that we will use along with the tuple relational calculus. So one is known as the universal quantifier. This one is represented as this symbol, and the existential quantifier. Okay, that is the reverse of E. How do we? So this universal quantifier may be also known, you can just in simple language, we can say that for all. I think in mathematics you have done, right? In the, I think calculus, we have studied for, this is the known for all. Okay. And this means existential quantifier, you can name this E as like there exists, and this is for all. So a tuple variable T is said to be free variable unless it is quantified by this existential or universal. So a tuple variable is said to be free unless we don't have any symbol involved in it. So here we can see there is no existential quantifier, neither there is universal quantifier. So we can say that this T is free. Okay, this variable is free. But in case if we have some expression where this two symbols, like any of the symbols have been used, then that is called the bound. Okay, bound symbol. So here you see this can be used like this. Okay, we have an example here. Okay, now here is an example of free and the bound variables. So here first expression you see d dot name equal to research. So here no none of the expression, none of the like quantifiers, whether it's like the existential nor the universal quantifiers comes into picture. So that is why it is called the variable d is free. Okay, but here you see there exists d dot number equal to t dot dno. So in this case, this d is a free variable because there is no such there is no existential or universal quantifier attached to the variable t. It is like linked with t. So that is why we call variable t is bound, but d is free. Similarly, here you are using a for all quantifier, that is a universal quantifier, such that d dot sin equal to this number. So here this variable d is now a bound. So clear about bound and free variables, tuple variables, which variables are called bound and which variables are called free? Anyone not clear? See, just remember, whenever we use like this extra things, we add this existential or we add the universal quantifier with the variable, then that variable becomes bound. Otherwise, when it is not mentioned, then it is free. Whenever it appears, it is known as bound. When it does not appear, it is known as free. Anyone not clear? Yes. Ankita, is it clear? Free, bound variable, safe and unsafe expression. Ankita, like, see if your mic is not working, you can write in chat also which part is not clear, because these are important. Okay, Avinash, are you clear? Ankuran, Varsha, yes, no, so that I get an idea. Yes, no,
Ma'am,
so that I get an idea. Okay,
ma'am, can you repeat it once again?
okay. So from where only the these qualifiers, or like these bound variables, or the safe and unsafe expression also?
No, ma'am, qualifies.
Okay. See, we have in tuple relational calculus, we have two types of qualifiers. One is known as the universal quantifier and other is known as the existential quantifier. I think in mathematics we have studied this about this quantifiers. Okay, in calculus I guess, I just don't remember exactly. So these quantifiers we used to represent this symbol. We used to use, if we used to choose all the variable, we used to call this for all. This is known as for all. If it involves everything, and this is known as if there exists.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. So
Yes.
what is like what is a free and bound variable, tuple variable? So whenever we use any of this variable, whenever we use any of this like quantifiers with a variable, that variable becomes variable becomes bound. And if we do not use any variable like quantifier with that variable, then it is free. So up till now, the whatever like we have seen example in the last example like this one, we haven't used any quantifiers. So these were these were free variables. Okay, this t is a variable, right? So this t is a free variable. But when we use, so any case like in the earlier case also, this t is a free variable. Why? Because we are not using any quantifier along with it. Okay, so this t is also what? It is free because we are not using any quantifier. But the moment I add a quantifier with it, it becomes a bound variable. So you check here, I have given an example here. You see here d dot name equal to research. So this is no quantifier is attached to it. So that is why it is the free variable. But in this case, you see there exists t and d dot number equal to t dot dno. But you see there exists this existential quantifier is attached only with t and not with d. Okay, that is why T is what? Free, but T is bound. And here we are using a quantifier with the variable D. In this case, this D is a bound variable. Now clear, Prashant? Is it
Yes,
clear?
ma'am.
Okay. Is it clear?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Now, just now I mentioned, like when we use this qualifier, that is the existential qualifier, that then in this case it means that it will be like existential qualifier T of f is true if the formula f evaluates to true for at least one tuple. So because this symbol is known as the, I told you, right, there exists. So if any one of the tuple is true, the entire like this formula will be true. But for this case, this means for all. So it is true if the formula evaluates to true for all tuples. For this case, for this purpose, if all the tuples are true, then only it will be true. For this case, if any one of the tuple is true, then only it can be true. So that is why you should remember the informal name. So this is known there exists, and this is for all. So for all means every tuple must satisfy the condition. But here in this case, even if only one tuple satisfies the condition, your your formula will be true. Okay? So now how do we use this? Just take an example. So here it gives a question is, retrieve the name and address of all employees who work for the research department. So see, the tables we have created in the SQL query, so we have taken first name, last name separately. So that is why we are taking the name as first name and last name as the two variables, okay, two attributes. So T dot F name, T dot L name, T dot address such that employee of T and there exists D, okay, there exists D from where, which is belongs to a department, and D dot name equal to research and D dot number equal to T dot DNO. Now, suppose we have a table, okay, we have a table for employee where we have the details of the employee first name, employee last name, employee address, employee phone number, and the department number of the employee. Okay, department of the number of the employee, and that department number. Should I like show you in the? Okay, let me show you in the like PPT itself. Then just wait. Let me take an example. Okay, suppose we have a table. Okay, let me take the table. Let me take one only. So okay, let me have, this is an employee table where we have employee ID. Next we have employee maybe first name, maybe F name. Next is last name, address. Next is department he works on. There may be other things also. Okay, just now for us we are taking. Okay, so this is a department ID. Okay, department ID, and we have another table. Let me take another table now. Number of columns. Okay, let me take two now for now. Okay. So department one, suppose department, this is the department ID, department number, and this is the department name. So these are the two tables we are having, right? So we know this is the employee table and this is the what table is the department table. Okay, we know in the department table department number is the primary key, and in the employee table employee ID is the primary key. But this department ID and department number is same thing, but this will be same thing, right? Because here it is the department, in the department table department number is the primary key, but here it is the foreign key. We are referring to by this department ID. When we see this department ID, we will refer to the department table only. Okay. So this is the table we have just drawn, right? So here when someone wants to check the find the department in which department the employee is working, the name of the department, he needs to refer to this department. So you check here, you are finding the first name, last name, address from employee of T. So you are finding the first name, last name and address from this table, employee. This is the employee. Such the employee of T, and there exists a variable D, that D belongs to whom? The department of D. Okay, so this D belongs to the department table. Okay, and D dot name equal to research and D dot number equal to D dot DNO. So now this D name equal to research, it will be matched here only. Okay, D dot name will be matched here, that is equal to research. And what does this mean? D dot number equal to T dot DNO. So we are referring the table employee using the variable T, and we are referring to the table department using the variable D. So here I think you understood this part. D dot name equal to research. So that means we are looking for this part. Okay, D dot name equal to research. So here we will find out where is the research department, and one more condition is there. D dot number equal to T dot DNO. So here D dot number equal to, it should map with this thing, T dot department number or department DNO or something, whatever is mentioned, but I have mentioned. So for our case it will be T dot department ID. Now this part, anyone not clear how we are finding it?
Ma'am, clear.
Clear? What about others?
Yes,
Clear?
clear.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So
Yes,
here
ma'am.
is one more example. You see? Okay. Retrieve the name of all employees who have no dependents. So we have two tables. Okay. One is employee table and one is dependent table. So in the employee table, we have the employee ID as the primary key, and we have other attributes like e-name, employee name, salary and date of birth. And for department, we have the department ID as the primary key, and we have department name, DEID and DDOB. So if we want to find if someone who is the parents for this dependent, or who have this dependent, so if we go for this is the foreign key here, right? This employee ID is used here. So if we want to check, we will refer to this table only. Like we have the department ID. So here also, here in this case, here this department EID is the foreign key because it is the primary key in this table. Okay, so here the question is, retrieve the name of all employees who have no dependents. So in that case, what will be our query look like? The person who have no dependents. So you check, you can do in either of the two ways. So you see, you are finding only the retrieve the name. So E dot name of from employees, okay, and not there exists D, okay, there exists D, dependent of D, and E dot EID equal to D dot DID. So you can write it this way, or you can find in writing this not the dependent, because you are able, you should find the person you should find who have no dependents. So that is why we are using the not operator. Just check once. Either of the two ways is correct. Okay. Same thing only, but we have just used here there exists, and here we have used the universal one, universal quantifier, that is the for all d not dependent of d or not EID equal to this one. So we are using this one. So it will come with practice. Shall I move to the next example? Can I? Anyone not
Yes,
clear
ma'am.
with this one?
Ma'am.
With this one? Okay. Let me have take some, like I have some online questions also. I can just wait for some. Can you view my screen now? Yes? Is it visible?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So here you can see here are 6 tables are there. This is a normal gig for gigs tuple relational calculus. You can just find out. Okay. So here we have a customer table. So customer name, street, city is there. We have a branch. So where we have the branch name and branch city. Account, we have account number, branch name, balance, and we have loan table, loan number, branch name, amount, and also we have the customer borrower table where we have the customer name, loan number, and we have depositor, customer name, and account number. Now we are required to find the loan number, branch, amount of loans of greater than or equal to 10,000. So they have solved it for us. So we have to find out the someone and from the loan number, from the loan table only. You can, if you check the loan table, we have the loan number, branch name, and amount. So we need to find, the question is find the loan number, branch, amount of loans of greater than or equal to 10,000 amount. So everything is mentioned, right? So we will only use one table, that is the loan table. Okay. So we have used, just check in this here. We have a variable t. That t belongs to which table? Loan. Okay. Here we have a separate, either you can write the way I used, that is loan of t, you can also write, or this way we have not followed, but you can think it's a loan of t. Okay, the way we use the employee of t, here it's written is, this is a belongs to symbol. Okay, t belongs to loan of t. This is, that was I was telling you, in some questions, some like conventions, you can, someone may write a and d and, or may use this symbol also. Okay, both are correct. Both are correct. Don't get confused. Both are the same thing. These are the logical operators only, right? So what was the question? T of amount greater than equal to 10,000. So if you get like this, so you are finally able to retrieve that like the desired answer. Okay. So all who have amount greater than 10,000 will be displayed. In our case, like if you the way we wrote also, it's also, you can just write it in. Now how do we write? So okay, just write t such that, okay, it's like small letter. Okay, don't get confused. We have loan of t, a a and d. Then we can go for t dot amount greater than equal to 10,000. Sorry, this is a query for us. So they, instead of writing it in this way, they have, what they have done, this t belongs to loan they have written. So don't get confused. Okay, same thing. Are you clear? This thing, is it clear? They have used
Yes, ma'am.
same
Yes,
thing.
ma'am.
See, okay. Same thing. See. Okay. Moving next to the question, like next is find the loan number for each loan of an amount greater than or equal to 10,000. From this question also, we are very much clear that we need to find what from the we need to first get the query from the loan table only. Okay, so here also it's written like we have a variable t and there exists a variable s that belongs to loan of t loan number t dot loan number equal to s dot loan number and s dot amount greater than equal to 10,000. Okay, so in that case what it will find out? The loan number. Clear? Don't get confused with the conventions.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, let me check with the other questions what we have just. Yes, sir. Okay, now moving next, I will share again one more thing. Sure. My screen is visible, right? Yes. Is it visible?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
So here you see there are the online questions are there from Pen Foundry. So it's written like find the ID, name, department name, salary for instructor whose salary is greater than $80,000. So can you tell me which will it be? Can anyone of you tell me out of this four? Are you able to view the screen now? See, find the ID, name, department name, salary for instructor. So here in this case, what they have done, they have not like separated the attributes. They have taken a single variable t to represent that attribute. Okay, so that is why you cannot probably see the ID, name, department. So they think they have taken all the attributes. So which one it will be? A, B, C, D. What do you think? Yes, it is A. So there is a variable t. That variable belongs to what? Instructor of t, and salary is t dot salary greater than 80,000. Okay. Now next question we have on it's a easy one because we have already seen that one. A query in the tuple relational calculus is expressed as how? How do we represent in a tuple relational calculus? A, B, C, D.
C.
Yes, it is C, right?
C.
Yeah, it's C. C. Okay, that's C1. Next, go through this query. Go through this query. T such that there like s with a variable s is there that belongs to there exists s that belongs to instructor t dot name equal to s dot name and there exists u that belongs to the department u dot department name equal to s dot department name and u dot building equal to Watson. What will be the what does the following query describe? Can anyone tell? Whether it finds the name of all instructors whose department is in the Watson building, finds the names of all department is in the Watson building, or finds the names of all the department whose instructor and building is Watson, returns the building name of all the departments. What does this query do?
Finds the names of all the instruction whose department in the Watson's building.
Yes, it is A.
Option
It
A.
finds the name. So it's very clear from here only. Okay, so it's A. Find the names of all instructor whose department is in the Watson building. So this was all about the tuple relational calculus. So I think from tomorrow we'll be starting the domain relational calculus. I'll be sharing the slide with you people. Please go through it, and in case of any confusion, you need to ask, because I know these things are not easy, right? You need to like practice all the relational calculus, relational algebra. So please practice, and in terms of any, if you have any confusion, do let me know. Okay, so I'm ending the class for today. Okay, just wait for some time and let me take the attendance. Please go through these things. Okay, you need to understand very important concepts. Okay, thank you everyone. All of you can leave now. We'll have class tomorrow.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.